Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
You wore that smile like a badge, held the keys, took roll, kept score, said trust me, this is our secret, locked the classroom door. You turned the lesson into leverage, you twisted kindness into chains, signed the homework with a halo, hiding every stain. Leave these kids alone, they came here to learn, not bleed. You carved your hunger into a desk, called it love till they believe. Time for justice, time for prison, let the truth cut through this prison of excuses. Leave these kids alone. You sat in front at assemblies, talked to futures, caps and gowns, but your hands were hunting shadows every time the lights went down. You wore that title like armor, respected leader, pillar, guide, but every text, every thread, every touch was a crime you tried to hide. Leave these kids alone, they came here to learn, not bleed. You carved your hunger into a desk, call it love till they believe. Time for justice, time for prison, let the truth cut through this prison of excuses. Leave these kids alone. We see the patterns in the hallway, a whisper shaking in the air. No more silence dressed as safety, every scar is evidenced a flare. Strip the plaques from off the walls, rip your name from every wing, let the victims write the ending, let the courtroom hear this sing. Leave these kids alone, they came here to learn, not bleed. You carved your hunger into a desk, called it love till they believe. Time for justice, time for prison, let the truth cut through this prison of excuses. Leave these kids alone.
The NYPD arrested a Bronx gym teacher accused of raping a 14-year-old girl. Police arrested Javon Johnson. He's 34 years old. They arrested him last month. They charged him with rape. The New York Post is now reporting that Mr. Johnson is accused of raping one of his students back in December of 2024. According to his LinkedIn profile, he worked as a physical education specialist and basketball coach at the Icon Charter School 2 in the Van Ness neighborhood. The school told the Post that he is no longer employed there. He now faces 25 years to life in prison if he's convicted. It's unclear if he is entering a plea.
Breaking news now at 4. A Huntsville church has fired an employee who's been arrested on a sex crime against a child charge, and that church says it happened at its daycare. The church is Trinity United Methodist. Huntsville police say officers arrested and charged Cameron White with sexual abuse of a child under 12. The church's senior pastor says it's fired White. And Huntsville police tell us the Special Victims Unit partnered with the Children's Advocacy Center in its investigation. White's currently in the Madison County Jail without bond. In a statement, the pastor, Reverend Dietrich Kauser, said in part they're heartbroken by the situation and that the safety of children is sacred. Reverend Kauser went on to say that when they became aware of the incident Wednesday, they acted immediately and contacted authorities and then fired White.
New at 10, we are learning more about the Caldwell school bus driver arrested for possessing and sharing harmful material involving children. Attorney General Ralph.
All right, before we go any farther here, I'm going to go ahead and show this guy because they're not going to. I mean, the sheer content alone of this guy's face. I mean, if I was a news director, I would have told my casters, oh yeah, throw him up there, you know what I mean? So, well, there he is.
Labrador says 42-year-old Jeremy Wakely faces 4 counts of possession of child sexual exploitation material and 1 count of distribution of child sexual exploitation material. Wakely was employed by North America Central School Bus, which hired bus drivers for Idaho schools. In a statement, the company says Wakely was suspended and it is cooperating fully with law enforcement. Caldwell police tell us they helped with the arrest, but Idaho's Internet Crimes Against Children, or ICAC task force, investigated the incident and could release more information soon. The AG's office says investigators found no evidence of local students or members of the school community to be victims.
Tonight, actor Timothy Busfield will be released from jail as his child sex abuse case moves forward.
There's no evidence of a pattern of criminal conduct. There are no similar allegations involving children in his past. There's no evidence of non-compliance with prior court orders.
Wife and actress Melissa Gilbert emotional in court and tonight speaking out.
I want to thank all of the friends, the co-workers who've worked with Tim, our relatives, people who have been coming out of the woodwork, showering us with so much love.
Busfield faces child sex abuse charges. The allegations involve 2 child actors, brothers in the drama series The Cleaning Lady. The prosecutor today calling Busfield dangerous.
There's a pattern. The pattern is all touching. There's a pattern of his conduct.
Prosecutors also raising an alleged incident between Busfield and a different actor.
Almost immediately after she entered his trailer, he forcibly grabbed her and threw her against the wall and started kissing her.
The defense says the stories are all fabricated.
Every aspect of the state's case is flawed.
Calling the lead director of photography Busfield worked with on The Cleaning Lady as a witness to discuss if inappropriate touching could have taken place.
Film sets may seem chaotic if you're an outsider, but everything we do is incredibly regimented. There was at minimum of 10 people there on the set with them. It's just how it works.
In court documents, the defense accusing the boys' parents of making up allegations for a financial and retaliatory motive because the kids were recast from the show in 2024.
How's Busfield doing?
He's doing great. He knows he's innocent and he's going to prove it.
Dana Griffin, NBC News.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
Well, police have arrested a man following a criminal harassment investigation over allegations he distributed papers containing sexual and other inappropriate messaging to children at Withrow Park. 45-year-old Andre Chios is facing charges for criminal harassment and breach of probation. Well, police say that they were first contacted by December by parents who reported the man approached their child and then fled the park. Well, police are concerned there may be more victims.
And a man in Etowah County is facing dozens of charges.
Yeah, he's been arrested and charged after investigators found files containing child sexual abuse material. We have Michael Higdon with the details from the breaking news desk. Michael?
Well, according to the complaints filed with the courts on June 10th of last year, Jason Williams knowingly possessed various distinct files containing child sex abuse material. Williams is facing 28 separate charges for that illegal material involving a minor. These are felony charges. As part of his terms of bond, Williams cannot have any internet, cell phones, or social media. He also is to have no contact with anyone under the age of 18. He was given a $620,000 bond and remains in the Etowah County Jail.
Eastern Carolina police officer has been charged with statutory rape, according to the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. The SBI says Roderick Howard has been arrested for first-degree statutory rape. Warrants say the Gaston police officer is accused of raping a girl under 13 years old. The Halifax County Sheriff's Office asked the SBI to help investigate the allegations made against Howard. The 34-year-old man is being held without bond.
Clearwater man who has been convicted of multiple counts of child pornography has been ordered to leave his home.
He was convicted on 17 counts related to sexually explicit images of children on his computer. Well, now a judge says he can't stay in his own house because there is a park and a daycare within a few feet of his home. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson joining us live at the Pinellas County Courthouse. He has the latest on this for us. Jeff.
Good evening, Keith. An investigation revealed that Michael Jonathan Wood had more than 300,000 very disturbing images of child pornography on his computer. Despite his convictions, he was only sentenced to probation, and today he was asking a judge to allow him to move back into his family home. But the judge ordered him to move.
I'm on annual leave today, but I wanted to make sure.
Michael Jonathan Wood stood next to his attorney today to ask a judge to allow him to return to his home in this Clearwater neighborhood to serve out his probation on a conviction of 17 counts of possession of child pornography. Paula Martinelli is married to Wood and is in the process of a divorce. She is the one who reported him to law enforcement.
I'm the person that found this crime. I'm the one that reported him, and I have been fully in support of him being removed from society.
The state says Wood's home is less than 200 feet from a daycare and less than 1,000 feet from a park. And under Florida law, sex offenders cannot live that close to places where there are children. Although Wood's attorney tried to argue he will be safe in his home.
There is a definition within a park. There is a place where children congregate. This is not a situation that is a place where children congregate.
But the women who live in the neighborhood say that is simply not true. They say the park is frequently used by children.
Where all of our children have learned to ride their bikes and can go to play football, we were absolutely irate.
The moms who came to today's hearing say they are relieved the judge has now ordered Wood to move out of his home in the next 2 weeks.
This man did not deserve to have his rights protected more than our children's safety be protected.
Wood's soon-to-be ex-wife says she lived with this man for more than 18 years and never suspected a thing until she found these images that were graphic images on his computer, and that's when she called the police. Keith?
And this is just the beginning, because apparently he's facing some new charges. What's that related to?
Yes, that's true, Keith. In a separate case, he is now charged with video voyeurism. He set up a camera to record sexually explicit images of a woman without her knowledge, and he will face charges on that.
All right, Jeff Patterson live at the Pinellas County Courthouse tonight. Thank you, Jeff.
In more local news this morning, the Dodge County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man following child sex crime investigation. Deputies executed a search warrant in the village of Hustiford, arresting 30-year-old Robert Gesh. Gesh is facing several charges, including first-degree sexual assault of a child and capture of an intimate representation. His cash bond is set at $5,000. He's currently in the Dodge County Jail.
A man wanted for raping a teenage girl on New Year's Eve is now behind bars in Nashville. Maina Awad was arrested last week at a hotel in Louisville. Police say he broke into an apartment and sexually assaulted that teen. She told officers he had a gun and a knife. Awad is charged with aggravated rape, burglary, and assault.
A Hendricks County man is behind bars, and he's back there tonight facing 17 new child sex crime charges. It is the second time he's been charged just in the last year. Fox 59's Jesse Wells explains what led to more charges and the message being sent to parents everywhere.
The suspect was set to come to court here today to change his plea on charges of child molestation and possession of child porn that were filed last year. Instead, prosecutors filed 17 additional charges this week of child exploitation and bestiality, allegedly committed while the suspect was on house arrest for the previous case. Starting in February of last year, police were called here to Plainfield High School and began investigating claims that 18-year-old Elijah Bamer molested a 6-year-old little girl. Those allegations led to charges being filed against the suspect in Hendricks County last April, after which Bamer was put on house arrest. 8 months later, in December, a tip from the social media app Kik claims sexually explicit videos involving children were uploaded and shared by accounts linked to the suspect. According to court records charging Bamer with child exploitation this week, the 18-year-old allegedly tried to convince others to engage in molestation, incest, incest and bestiality and repeatedly bragged about molesting the young victim.
Predators used to meet at parks and malls, and nowadays there's easier avenues online.
Genevieve Meyer with the Indiana Trafficking Victims Assistance Program says cases like this can be a wake-up call for parents.
It's not a matter of if your children are going to be exposed to something, it's a matter of when.
Meyer urges all parents to watch for red flags, monitor their kids' online activity, and most importantly, communicate with their children about online stranger danger.
It definitely isn't shrinking. It's not going away. So parents really need to educate themselves, be diligent, and have conversations with their kids. It's better to equip your children of understanding that the dangers are out there.
Speaking to police last year, the suspect allegedly confessed he committed the molestation because he had been dared by others he met online. Finally, because the suspect allegedly violated his probation for the previous case, his pretrial release has been revoked, and he's now being held without bond at the Hendricks County Jail. Jesse Wells, Fox 59 News.
A Hamilton man will spend at least 10 years behind bars for charges related to sexual abuse and child pornography. 34-year-old Casey Letts was sentenced on Friday to 10 to 20 years in prison after he pled no contest to 5 charges, including second-degree criminal sexual conduct and child sexually explicit activity.
Every year, countless children across the United States are victims of internet sex crimes. But one interagency task force located here in Fishers continues to work to keep your children safe.
Finding online child predators and bringing them to justice can often be a tall task for law enforcement.
But just weeks, months of just sending out subpoenas, search warrants to find out who actually behind that computer on there, because we don't know who it is at the very beginning. All we have is an IP, and that's usually it.
It's work that the Hamilton County Metro Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force has been tackling for nearly 2 decades now, made up of detectives from 9 different agencies, including police departments from Fishers, Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, and more. It marks a massive interagency effort in the fight against internet sex crimes against children.
Since we cover 4 different counties with Madison County, Hamilton County, Hancock, and Tipton are our 4 counties, it helps having officers from those agencies to help us in their own county. They know the roads, they know the people in there, they know prior runs.
Those efforts have only become more and more needed. According to the ICAC task force, they had 612 cyber tips in 2025 compared to 427 in 2024.
So basically, my guys, detectives, are learning how to hack into these devices to try to find out what's inside, to make sure we have the proof of the crime. Who has access to the phone? Is he got a passcode on it? Nobody knows his passcode but him. So stuff like that's what we look for.
Recently, the agency announced the arrest of a Pendleton man, now facing 91 years in prison for child molestation, child exploitation, and child sex abuse material charges.
What do you want people to take away from when they see this tonight?
I want them to know that law enforcement is going after these crimes. They're going after solicitations, who are going after your kids and trying to groom them online. Know that we are out there, we are working. It is a very time-consuming process. This is not something that happens within a couple weeks or even a couple months. So no, we are doing it, but it just takes a lot of time. And please have patience with us as we work through it.
In Fishers, I'm your Hamilton County community reporter, Logan McDonald, WRTV.
Limestone County Sheriff deputies, they're keeping our streets safe and cracking down on alleged child predators. They arrested 22-year-old Jose Morales by setting up an online profile pretending to be a child. Deputies say Morales wanted to meet the child for sex acts, but it was really law enforcement. Morales is charged with electronic solicitation of a child and traveling to meet a child for an unlawful sex act. Deputies say Morales is from Guatemala. Bond has not been set.
A former Winona High School teacher and coach pleading guilty to sexually assaulting 3 students. Eric Dion Berth admitted to 3 counts of third-degree criminal sexual conduct. That assault happened between 2016 and 2022 when he worked as a track coach and PE teacher at Winona Senior High. He'll be sentenced in May.
This dad was stabbed to death by a machete-wielding gang as he protected his son from his former friends. The pair were rammed outside a KFC drive-thru and had to run away on foot. Kelvin Ward died from a stab wound to the heart, and these 3 were found guilty of killing him.
A Kingsport man was arrested by federal officers on possession of child pornography after he got off of a cruise ship in Florida. The Broward County, Florida Sheriff's Office confirmed Jason Allen Miller of Kingsport was arrested by the U.S. Marshals Service Saturday. It happened at Port Miami. Court documents from the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Florida show Miller was selected for secondary inspection by Customs and Border Protection. Law enforcement searched Miller's phone and reportedly discovered several photos and videos of suspected child sexual abuse material. Court documents add Miller has fostered roughly 20 children at his Tennessee residence in the past 7 years.
Also at the State House, a proposal to protect more children in our state passed through a Senate subcommittee today. Under the bill, those charged with sexual exploitation of a minor will not be eligible for deferred or suspended sentence. A deferred sentence means the conviction and sentencing are delayed while the person is on probation. This often leads to dismissal if conditions are met. With a suspended sentence, there is immediate conviction, but jail time is delayed. The conviction stays on a person's record after probation. The bill would apply to charges stemming from the possession of sexually explicit material of a child aged 12 or younger. Supporters say this makes sure perpetrators are held accountable.
I'm a survivor of child abuse, sexual abuse here in Iowa, and I think any steps that can be made to, keep kids safe in Iowa is always a good idea, and also, to make sure that perpetrators are held accountable.
The bill now heads to the full Senate Judiciary Committee.
A state prison inmate is facing new federal child pornography charges. A federal grand jury indicted 47-year-old Edward G. Wynn on 1 count each of receiving, distributing, and possession of child pornography. Federal investigators say Wynn was sending and receiving the porn while he was a state inmate in the Okaloosa Correctional Institution. He is currently serving a 40-year prison sentence for a 2014 conviction on 34 counts of possession of child pornography in Sarasota. Authorities are not saying how Wynn allegedly gained access to pornography while he was in prison. The judge has set his new trial date for February 24th. If convicted, he could get between 15 and 40 years for the distribution and receiving charges and up to 20 years for possession.
So you're reporting, we're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
Oh, we're not. No, we're pressing. We're not
that
honking.
vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane.
We're learning disturbing new details about this week's kidnapping of a little girl. WCCO's Aaron Hassanzoda explains how a stranger apparently used social media to target the 7-year-old.
It started at 3:40 Wednesday when that 7-year-old girl didn't come home from the bus stop in Zimmerman. By 6:30, authorities were canvassing the neighborhood, collecting doorbell camera footage and asking the family for clues.
This is every family's worst nightmare.
That's when her mother remembered something strange, an online interaction with this man, Joseph Bragg. He added her as a friend on Facebook in early December. She says Bragg asked her if she had children and claimed to work in childcare, asking if she knew anyone in her area looking for services. The mother says that's when she blocked him. 28-year-old Bragg was now a suspect. Law enforcement discovered he had rented a truck and pinpointed his location with cell phone data, setting off an Amber Alert and nearly 1,000-person search for the little girl.
The scene was chaotic. There were numerous tips and speculation being called into law enforcement.
That alert reached police in Albert Lea, 138 miles south, where police found that white pickup truck filling up with gas at a rest stop just before 1 a.m. When an officer pulled him over, Bragg said he was on his way out of state. The truck packed full of items, making it hard to see the little girl sitting in the back seat. Further investigation revealed Bragg used a rideshare service to take him and the 7-year-old to a hotel in Plymouth earlier in the day, where he had a room for nearly a month. The victim reported being in a hotel room with the defendant with her clothes off.
Luckily, we have a child that's alive today. Do the great work of everybody up here today, but we want to also make sure we're reinforcing that with our children. Unless the parent specifically is the one telling them to go with that person, that they do not get in a vehicle with that person.
Bragg now faces kidnapping and sex crime charges. Authorities say he has no serious prior criminal history and has never contacted the victim. The girl is now back home.
New at 5, a Huntsville man has been arrested on child pornography charges. Huntsville police began the investigation into 30-year-old Aaron Sims after receiving a tip for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Officers say they found probable cause to search the home. Sims was taken into custody today. Police say they're examining the evidence found in the home, and Sims has been charged with possession with intent to disseminate child pornography. The department tells us more charges are possible as their investigation continues.
Panama City police have also arrested another man who allegedly traveled to meet a child for sex. 30-year-old William Lloyd Barnes allegedly contacted what he thought was a 17-year-old last month on a site called Skip the Games. After several weeks of communications, police say Barnes arranged to meet the teenager for sex last night. Turns out the 17-year-old was an undercover police officer. They arrested Barnes when he showed up at the prearranged spot. He's in the Bay County Jail, held on $130,000 bond for obscene computer communications to solicit a child and traveling to meet a minor for sex.
New this morning, an Alabama man is facing more than 20 felony charges accused of lewd and lascivious acts with a child. Authorities think there may even be more victims. Christopher Brinson is accused of sexually abusing a family member between the ages of 6 and 10. It was reported by that family member to a social worker in May of 2024. Last week, Brinson was arrested and extradited to Sacramento County, where he's being held without bail. Officials say Brinson has lived in multiple areas around Sacramento County and Northern California, as well as in other states. They're asking anyone with information about potential victims to come forward and contact the Sacramento County Sheriff's Child Sex Abuse Bureau.
42-year-old Michael Cunningham received 5 life sentences stacked, meaning he will never walk free. Prosecutors say the abuse began when victims were still children and continued for years. Investigators say the case broke open after the girl's grandmother contacted Malakoff police following what authorities call child outcries. Tonight, Michael Cunningham begins multiple life sentences in Texas prison.
State police have arrested a man from Jamestown for alleged sex crimes that involved a child. Police say 18-year-old Benjamin Christ was found to be in possession of child pornography. They say investigators identified that the victim was under 11 years old. Christ has been charged with felony counts, including predatory sexual assault against a child, sex abuse, and endangering the welfare of a child. He is being held at the Chautauqua County Jail pending arraignment.
Some new details this afternoon, new changes for charges, I should say, for a Miami man who's already in jail after he was arrested for child sex crimes. Miami police say that it comes after they identified an additional victim. So police say that Osher Pittman was arrested in May of last year for sexual battery on a minor and possession of child sexual abuse material. Investigators say in August they received a tip regarding the online upload of child sexual abuse material. A search warrant was executed at the home, and investigators found electronic devices that contained more than 100 images of that material.
In Riverview, Mike Cornell Jr. is set to face a judge this morning. This comes after he was arrested on 9 charges, including sex crimes involving minors.
Yeah, when this news broke, our team was already digging into what we're now learning was a very troubled tenure in that office. First Alert 4's Justin Andrews. He is live for us this morning. He's at the St. Louis County Jail, where the mayor is being held just ahead of his court appearance.
Yeah, he's locked up right behind me at the jail, as you all just mentioned, being held on that $1 million cash-only bond. At 10 o'clock this morning, he will be facing a judge. It was last week when St. Louis County prosecutors alerted us that they arrested and charged the 39-year-old mayor, Mike Cornell Jr., with 9 counts, including multiple sex crimes, some involving minors. Pretty disturbing here. Police say there are 4 victims, 2 of them under the age of 17, and the alleged crimes stretch back years, from 2016 until now. Investigators also say they found child sexual abuse material on the mayor's cell phone. Because of the nature of this case, police believe there may be even more victims, and they're asking anyone who may be impacted or affected by this to come forward when they're ready. I want to let you know, though, this morning, even before these criminal charges were filed, our news team here at First Alert 4 had already been looking into Mayor Cornell's time in office. What we found: at least 7 active lawsuits against the city of Riverview, all naming Cornell Jr. 2 of those lawsuits specifically accused the mayor of inappropriate sexual behavior involving city employees. We're keeping our eyes on today's hearing. We do have several stories surrounding what's going on in Riverview and this mayor. You can have that. You can find that right now on our website and also on the First Alert 4 news app. We're live in downtown Clayton this morning. I'm Justin Andrews, First Alert 4.
All right, thank you, Justin, for those details.
Yeah.
We did check ahead for you this morning. We also found out that tonight at 6:30, the City of Riverview Board, they're actually going to have their first meeting since their mayor was arrested and charged. It's also a meeting we'll be watching closely as Riverview begins to look to what.
A man accused of sexually assaulting a girl has now been convicted. The Bernalillo County District Attorney says Armando Mason has been living with the child's family and began sexually abusing her in 2020. The child told authorities of the abuse a year later. Mason was arrested in 2024 and charged with multiple counts of criminal sexual penetration of a child under 13. He's facing up to 94 years in prison.
Well, the Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell says she's done a deep dive on this case, figuring out that registered sex offenders need to be monitored better.
He was on probation. That wasn't the problem. The problem was he wasn't following terms and conditions.
Rachel Mitchell says the way probation terms are handled for sex offenders in Arizona is not what it used to be.
So you actually had to demonstrate that you were willing to follow the rules, the terms and conditions for a period of time before you went to a different level of probation monitoring. That doesn't happen anymore.
Sex criminals are slipping through the cracks in the court system. Mitchell says making probation longer won't make a difference. She says there needs to be a step-by-step program, something she's working with lawmakers on. And what sparked the push? Well, police say in November, 25-year-old Abel Gabla, a registered sex offender, managed to get into an elementary school, then pose as a doctor and sexually assault a child. In 2020, Gabla was charged with 4 counts of sexual conduct with a minor, child sex trafficking, and luring a minor. A plea agreement wiped away 2 of those charges, and he got lifetime probation over prison time.
The charges that were filed, sex conduct with a minor, because of her age, because she was 15 or older, and he was not in a position of trust, which is something that makes prison mandatory. These are Class 6 felonies, and they are eligible for probation.
And as of today, Gabla is still sitting in Lower Buckeye Jail. The next court date listed for him is in about 2 weeks. And we're going to check back in with Rachel Mitchell's office at some point to ask how it's going with those probation changes that she wants to implement. Reporting for Arizona's Family, I'm Stephanie Dupre.
A Tallahassee man is pleading guilty to transporting child pornography. Officials arresting Charles Eric Love. Tallahassee detectives got cyber tips. Officials searched Love's property and online accounts and found over 1,000 images of child sex crimes. He now faces a mandatory minimum of 5 years in prison and a lifetime of supervised release. Love still faces state charges, including 50 counts of possession of child pornography.
Welcome back. New at 11, a Tallahassee man is now behind bars accused of sexually assaulting a teenager at a local hotel. Court records show 52-year-old Ricky Griffin was arrested on Thursday. Documents say the victim and her family were visiting Tallahassee from out of town in April of last year. Griffin allegedly messaged the 15-year-old girl through Instagram and asked her to meet him in the stairwell, which is where the assault happened. Tallahassee police say they learned through an investigation that Griffin was working at the hotel the night the assault happened. Griffin is in the Leon County Jail. He faces charges of sexual battery on a child under 18 but older than 12.
County man is behind bars following a sex crimes investigation in the village of Hustisford. According to the Dodge County Sheriff's Office, 30-year-old Robert Geisch faces charges of first-degree sexual assault of a child, incest with a child, and capture of an intimate representation. He was booked into the Dodge County, jail on Wednesday. His cash bond has been set at $5,000.
We are following some new information out of Warsaw tonight. A man has been arrested and taken to the Kosciuszko County Jail after state police tell us he had child porn. We could tell you this is 27-year-old Brandon Palmer. We got his mugshot. We want to take you back to the start of this investigation. This was 2 years ago, 2024. Officials got an online tip. This led to Indiana State Police opening an official investigation into him. It wasn't until yesterday he was arrested after a warrant had been carried out. Again, he's been taken to the Kosciuszko County Jail, where he's being held on a $20,000 bond. By the way, we're working to get the charging paperwork when it comes to Palmer.
A Goose Creek man facing up to 40 years in prison for allegedly producing child sex abuse material. 24-year-old Austin Woodard is charged with 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor in the first degree. The Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force received the tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which led them to Woodard.
New today, a Vanderbilt medical instructor is facing child exploitation charges. Kevin Priest was booked into the Sumner County Jail. There aren't many details on the case just yet. We do know, though, that Priest is listed online as a doctor and instructor of clinical anesthesiology. This is him you're seeing on your screen. That's at Vanderbilt University's Medical Center Department of Anesthesiology. Now, we did reach out to Vanderbilt here this afternoon for a statement. They told us Dr. Priest was immediately placed on administrative leave, adding he's a part-time employee who only worked on a very small number of adult cases.
2 former Army soldiers stationed at Fort Eustis were sentenced for having sexual images of children. Federal prosecutors say 21-year-old Isaiah Hood pleaded guilty to producing child sexual abuse materials back in May. He got a 20-year prison sentence. 23-year-old Hayden Carpenter pleaded guilty to coercion and enticement of a child in August, and he will spend 15 years in prison.
All right, the next appeal is Leo Sanchez Basalto. Come on forward. You are requesting to move to 961 Valp Avenue, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Leo is also a former client of mine. I have no problem being impartial with him.
Okay. So the last time we saw you was in 2020.
Yes.
And at that time, we approved you at Klaus Street?
Yes.
Is that correct? And now you want to go to 961 Valp Avenue. Why do you want to move?
Well, I don't live there anymore. I actually served some time on revocation.
Okay.
And that was with my ex-girlfriend, who I'm no longer with. So,
okay.
Since being out, I lived at 154 Burger Street. You guys approved me for permanent residency there in 2018, I believe it was. And then, due to a violation, I failed the drug test and it came up for alcohol. So I was put on a bracelet, and then because of malfunction on the bracelet, I didn't do anything to it, but the police were called. There was a warrant put out and they showed up at my place of residence, and that caused an issue with the landlady, so she didn't want me staying there anymore. And so I notified my PO, and because of that, I had to be listed as homeless. And then after the time limit, or the amount of time I was sanctioned for doing the bracelet time has come up, I still have to be on the bracelet because I'm homeless, but when I'm approved for residency somewhere, the bracelet will be coming off.
Okay.
Was Burger Street Mom's house? Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, previously, but then I took over the lease in 2018 for about almost a year.
Okay, but it's my understanding, and they can the attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, even though we approved you once before to live at the Burger Street, you're technically have to come back to get approved again. So we had approved you after that to go to the Close Street.
Yes.
So you're telling us then, just recently you were at the Burger Street, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I believe that would have been a violation. You needed to come back before us, even though you were approved there one previous time.
Sure.
You still have to come back because things could change.
My PO told me before I got out that since I already had a permanently approved address, that it would be fine. If he would have told me otherwise, I would have come back.
That's okay. It's in the past. Before we do go any further, again, we've got some newer board members. Do you wish for him to tell you what he was convicted of?
I'd like to hear it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, Leo, as you heard me tell the previous gentleman, we're going to ask you to tell us what you were convicted of, how the police got involved, and when you talk about the situation, we don't want you to list the victim by name or relationship.
Sure.
Okay? And we want you to be as detailed as you can.
Right. Trying to figure out how to tell the story with omitting relationship information.
You could just say your victim.
Sure. So in 2015, I was asked to babysit, and initially I declined because I had plans later that night with a friend of mine. And ultimately what it comes down to is I was offered liquor in exchange for babysitting, and at that time I just turned 20 years old, so it wasn't something I could get on my own, and I thought it would be a cool thing to bring to my little hangout with that girl. So I relented and I agreed, and then I drank with the parent of my victim before they went out. They said they would only be out about an hour max. They were going to watch a UFC fight at a bar, then they were going to be back. So being nervous for meeting this girl, I drank a little more when I anticipated them being back right away, and that didn't happen. And over the next few hours they kept texting me that they would be back within 15-20 minutes. They didn't come back until well after bar closed because they went to a bonfire after that. So by then, after hearing over and over, we'll be back in 20-30 minutes, I'm getting a little more frustrated, but also like nervous about this girl because I keep telling her I'll be there in 20 minutes, and that wasn't happening. So I kept drinking more and more, and then at some point I put my feet up on the couch. I notice it's wet, and I ask my victim, I'm like, did you pee? She said no. I'm like, okay, you didn't spill anything and the couch is wet. My feet are wet, did you pee? And she's like, yes. So I said, okay, can you go clean yourself up? She was, I think, 3 years old. So she went to the bathroom, and then after hearing the bathtub faucet run for what felt to me an inordinate amount of time, I grew concerned because I'd heard stories about kids drowning on their own in the bath. So I went in and I checked on her, and she was standing in the bathtub throwing water at her face. I thought it was hilarious at the time. I was drunk, but I did think it was funny. I'm like, you peed and you're throwing water at your face. This doesn't make sense to me. So I took a video of it to show her parents when they got home. And at some point I put my phone down. I forgot it was even recording. And I helped her clean. I helped her get ready. And I forgot about the video by the time they got back. So when they got back, immediately as soon as they got back, I left to go meet with that girl. I brought her over. We hung out the rest of the night. She spent the night. The next day, I guess my victim's parents got into a verbal and physical altercation, and he took off. He left. He wasn't. I guess they shared a phone, so she didn't have one. So anyway, she came to my my room and asked to borrow my phone. I lent it to her, and I fell back asleep with that girl. Then she came back a bit of time later, and she's like, "Hey, your phone knocked me out. Can you unlock it again?" I was like, "Sure, no problem." I go in and I just disable the lock and I give it back to her. And then the next time I'm woken up, because I went back to sleep with the girl again, next time I'm woken up, it's the cops. They ask me if I know anything about a video of my victim on my phone. I say yes. Then they bring me to the jail to have me sit in a room and talk to them. And he asked, you know, what happened. I told him everything that happened, and then I was booked in. I was charged with first-degree sexual assault of a child and possession of child pornography. Then, after advice from my public defender, she told me that they had offered a deal that if I waived my prelim hearing, the hearing where they discuss evidence, if I waive that first hearing, they will offer me a deal of dropping the child pornography case if I plead out to the sexual assault, and they would offer me 5 years in prison, 10 years on supervision. Ultimately, after much thought, you know, she told me I was looking at up to 85 years. I decided to plead guilty, and when I went in front of the judge, I explained my case and all the details of my case. He gave me 3 years in prison and then 5 years on supervision.
Okay.
Since then, I've served more time. In total, I've done almost 8 years in prison. Every other time has been on revocation for supervision on that first case, and those are predominantly OWIs.
So you were revoked because of an OWI?
Yes.
Okay. Captain, is that an accurate description of the criminal complaint?
Yeah, I mean, there's contention, obviously, in the criminal complaint on his side about whether he was washing. I believe the child, based on my math that's correct, would be about 3 years old. So he denies that the inappropriate touching was anything but washing, but there was video, and the officers watched it. There's claim of pain by the child, and sees the party's hand reaching down between her legs that touch her vaginal area. So at the end of the criminal complaint, though, he does deny that it was anything but washing.
Okay.
And I don't know anything about alcohol. I don't remember seeing anything in the criminal complaint about alcohol or intoxication.
Okay. Thank you.
If I may.
Yes.
There wasn't anything about alcohol in the complaint. My attorney actually advised me to not bring that up because he felt it might make things look worse for me, but I felt that complete candor was necessary in the situation, so I was honest.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any questions regarding his crime?
None.
Okay. So if we want to talk about any kind of treatment that you may have received, you have the opportunity to do that in closed session or remain in public session. Do you have a preference for that?
Public is fine.
Public?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't recall seeing any kind of treatment in your packet. Did you complete any kind of sex offender treatment?
I was, after I got out the first time, I was in treatment, and then nearly a year into my treatment, they changed providers, so I had to start from scratch with their new provider, and then that's when I was sent back to do an ATR for AODA because I had half a beer at my niece's birthday party, and so I was offered the ATR, so I waited in jail for 2 months, and then I did the 4-month intensive care program at MSDF. And then recently I just completed AODA again through Libertas.
Okay, but so you've only really done AODA treatment? You haven't done any kind of sex offender treatment?
I've only completed AODA treatment, but I've done about a year of, a year and some change of SOT.
And so where did you initially start that up, and then you said they changed providers? Where was that going through?
I couldn't tell you the names of them. I don't know. This was 7 years ago.
And was it here in Green Bay that you did this?
It was here in Green Bay. It was right here downtown.
Family Services? Did you see Dr. Drake?
No,
Jim
it
Drake?
it was led by a woman. I don't remember her name, but their facility closed down, so they had to change providers, so I wasn't getting it there anymore. Then I was moved to somewhere on the east side, right next to a Subway. I'm really bad at street names. I'm sorry.
Would it have been through Attic Correctional Services?
Really couldn't tell you.
Okay. Did you attempt to try to get any kind of documentation on any of the treatment that you've completed?
No, I haven't tried to apply for resident, because the last two times I was in totals to about 4 years. So before then was the last time I came before you guys, and yeah, no, I was not made aware that I would need to grab that documentation beforehand.
Are you going to be living with anyone, or are you going to be living by yourself?
No, it would be by myself.
Okay. I mean, because I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, I have an issue that, you know, you don't have any documentation. That's a huge thing that we have to take into consideration is, you know, the treatment that you have received. So I do have a little bit of a concern with that.
What is CBISA?
Sabisa? Yeah, that was the program that I completed at MSDF. I think it's Cognitive Behavioral Intervention something. I couldn't tell you the last two acronyms, but that was the program I did at MSDF, and that was just a intensive deep dive on behavioral change, decision making, role playing. We did treatment for 8 hours of the day, every day there, excluding weekends.
Was it sex-based though?
No, it was predominantly drug and alcohol, because that's why I went there for drinking that half of a beer.
Okay, so you tell us that on the sexual offense charge that you had some issues with drinking, and then it appears that was it in 2022 that you received an OWI third?
21.
21?
Yes.
Okay. And then it also looks like in 2025 you received another criminal complaint for your ignition interlock. Was it you did not have it, you tampered with it? What was the story with your interlock?
So I have a vehicle with the interlock device installed. That situation was a friend of mine. She needed to go to Milwaukee and she was feeling ill and she couldn't make the drive herself. And she kind of just showed up and hopped in the passenger seat and was like, "You'll drive me, right?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I can do that." And she showed up late and told me we kind of had to hurry, so I was speeding a little bit, so that's why I got pulled over initially. And, you know, obviously her vehicle didn't have the IID device installed. So I did go to jail for 3 days. I missed my finals at NWTC. After getting out, though, I was able to get an extension, and I just finished that up a few days ago. But yeah, that's how that happened.
Okay. So, do you still drink?
No, I've been sober for nearly a year now. I mean, and plus the prison stuff, but I mean, since I've been out, I've been sober for nearly a year. It's the same reason I won't entertain a romantic relationship right now. I just don't feel I don't want to call it a hindrance, you know, a relationship, but I feel like there are certain steps I need to do to make my life better, and a relationship could distract me from that. So I need to make my next steps my best ones to ensure that I do well in the community.
Okay.
So drinking's not in that plan. My girlfriend's not in that plan.
All right. And you wrote on your thing that you don't have an issue with any kind of drugs?
No.
Okay, all right.
How much time do you have left on probation?
I have 2 years left on probation.
Has Josh talked to you at all about getting back into sex treatment?
He's not brought it up at all. He's the only thing he wanted me to do after getting out was the AODA treatment, which I completed through Libertas.
Does anyone have any questions?
Anybody speak on his behalf?
Yeah, or do you have anybody that would?
Oh, yeah, that's my mom. My sister was just here. I think she
Yeah.
moved.
Did you want to speak on his behalf?
Well,
If you do, you need to come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Please fill out that form as well, and then just turn that into us.
okay. My name is Rosita Sanchez. I'm Leo's mom. What else did you want me to say?
Address.
154 Burger Street, Apartment 6, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54302.
Okay.
Leo, he's a good kid. Yes, he's made some bad choices, but he does his best every time he gets out. He does what he has to do, whatever his PO wants him to do. He gets a job right away. He makes his money. He pays his rent. He takes care of what he has to take care of. He's always been responsible with that. And the drinking, well, that has been an issue, which he's doing better now. So I'm really happy about that, and I'm happy that he's going back to school so he can hopefully get his own profession and do something with his life, you know, considering the charges that are on his record now that will affect him for the rest of his life. So yeah, I think with him going forward to try to make something better of himself, I'm happy with, you know, so I just hope that you guys, you know, give him a chance and let him be able to have his place and, you know, go forward, because he doesn't like living with mom no more.
Can I ask you, do you have any other children or grandchildren?
I have Lily here. I got, she's 13, and then I got Gavin and Bella, but they're up north, like an hour from here. I see them when I go down there, and then other 4 more up in Idaho.
Okay. And would you feel comfortable leaving Leo with your other grandchildren by himself?
I would, but I wouldn't do it because of his circumstances right now, you know, but yes, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I trust Leo 100%. I kept talking to him. I says, Mijo, just fight it, go to court. He goes, but the guys in here are telling me that if I fight it, they're gonna lock me up forever, and I didn't have the money to get him out, because that way they wouldn't have been telling him their advice, and I'm over here trying to give him my advice, and you know, I got him a lawyer, not a very expensive one, but I got him one, and I don't think he did Leo justice either, and you know, taking it to court, honestly.
And kind of back to your grandchildren, would their parents feel comfortable
Yes.
if they could
Yes.
leave them with Leo?
My daughter, that she had to go move the car. I don't know if she's going to come back up or not, but all the parking spots for an hour were all filled up. So this is a 30-minute one, and she says, I got a ticket here last time. I got to move it. Okay. But yeah, she would, but you know, we can't, because they got to get permission from both parents. And her and her ex are always bumping heads, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, and Laura, my ex-daughter-in-law, she would too. She loves Leo to death, and if she was here, she would tell you the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I had some questions. I don't know if we touched on. Are you employed?
No, I was employed at Liberty Tax Services. I was doing tax preparation there, and then after the season, I wanted to focus on school to make sure I was doing well, because at that job I was working 58 hours a week, and I was enrolled at NWTC for 3 classes, and I noticed immediately, splitting my attention between the two, my grades went from 100% every assignment to 92 to 87 to 80, and so after that I just wanted to make sure I had enough time to focus my efforts into school to make sure I finished up strongly.
And what sort of a degree are you?
I'm pursuing software engineering.
So you are currently still enrolled in school?
No, over the summer I wanted to work and make money so I could both fund school but then also have money because, well, you know, I have to pay for rent, I have to pay for, I got a lot of bills. I got to pay for the breathalyzer in my car. I've got to pay for some debts that I have outstanding. I've got a lot of bills. So for summer, I kind of wanted to just put a lot of hard effort into working and saving money. And then also another big part playing into that fact is that they don't offer programming in C# Part 2 over the summer. It has to be during the fall semester. So it was, to me, a smarter decision to just take the summer off and then take those core classes come fall after I've saved up money and I've got my living situation figured out for fall.
Okay.
It's also a lot closer to NWTC, this belt address.
Okay.
Also, if I may, all my, not sure if it's relevant or if it matters, but all my drinking things after the fact, I don't want to blame her, but like, after my ex, I was pretty messed up, so drinking was kind of my crutch for a while, in terms of like, when I felt like it was too much to think about. Drinking would make me not think about her. So that was the reason for the drinking, but you know, that's 5 years in my past now, and it's not something I think about anymore, so I can say I've put that behind me.
Okay. I'm just going to kind of tell you, you know, like I said, you've been here multiple times, and I think you've been approved every single time. You know, I had voiced my concern earlier that you did not provide documentation in your packet, but when you were here previous times, it is documented that you did provide, you know, that you've completed classes.
Yeah.
And I voted for you at that time, you know, to approve you at that time. So I really would not have any concerns with you going to this Phelps Avenue address, but that's just my opinion at this time.
Same, Leo's paid for his crime, and I feel comfortable voting for him.
I do also. Same here.
Move to approve address specific.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you are good to move to that 961 belt, but again, if you ever decide to move from there, you have to come back here,
Yeah.
okay?
All right, thank you guys for your
All
time.
right, did you want us to mail it to that address?
Actually, could you just mail it to
The Burger
Yeah, the Burger Street apartment 6.
6 or?
Yeah.
Okay.
546.
Did you catch that? That's where. Yep.
Oh, it's right here. Thank you.
Yeah, mail his approval letter to that address, please.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, is there any other business that?
Say, excuse me, Judge. How many times do I need to show these videos until people become aware?
multiple times.
Happy birthday, dear Ellie.
Now, Ellie, remember, this is our special secret.
1 in 5 children is sexually abused before they turn 18.
Make a wish, but remember, it's a secret.
Do you know the signs?
I just want everyone to go home.
Learn more about the risks of child sexual abuse at sapria.org.
One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.